Yeah, there has been an ongoing feud between the state superintendent, the attorney general, and governor, and that led into today's discussion revolving around the state's available budget for next year, which has been actually a really important topic to the state legislature.
There is a wall between OMES and the estimating agencies. They do that independently.
Today, the State Board of Equalization met to approve many items surrounding the state's budget and looked at how much the state has made. $11.29 billion last year in revenue, and this year there's less revenue with that number at $10.8 billion. Now that dip in revenue comes after the state started the parental choice tax credit and cut the grocery tax. But fingers are being pointed today about the legitimacy of those numbers.
This impartial process is something that I have a lot of trust in because of the people at these state agencies, so I just want to say thank you.
Attorney General Gentner Drummond is a member of the board, but he skipped out on the meeting. Before the meeting, he sent a press release saying it's a scripted event by the governor and that he has no confidence in the numbers. Now, after the board meeting, Governor Kevin Stitt took a few members of the press into his office, including KOCO, where he broke down the numbers on a whiteboard. The biggest part of this was advocating for his ideal income tax cut, a 0.5% cut this year with a path to zero.
This money doesn't disappear. Like, it's not like I'm cutting $240 million. I'm just leaving it in their pockets.
However, the Attorney General in his press release said the governor's tax plan is irresponsible.
I don't know what he means by irresponsible. Like, is cutting $240 million and giving it back to Oklahomans irresponsible? It doesn't seem irresponsible to me. That seems like what we should do. Reminding, I'm not running for governor in 26, so I don't understand the not showing up at these meetings. It's weird.
Now, the board did authorize the state's available budget for next year, and that is just about $12.4 billion. Now, State Superintendent Ryan Walters, he is a member of that board, but he was not in attendance. So I reached out to his office, and they did not have a comment about the meeting. Reporting live, Dakota Wapakichi, KOCO 5 News.